fine. How are you?
I'm good. Dawn and I are so happy to be here today to help you out, to learn a little bit about your place. So if you could, just tell us a little bit about why you thought it'd be a good idea for us to come by. How can we help?
Well, this house has been here a very long time, and I feel that the people that lived here before, there were many, and they kept it well. They kept it up, and it just feels like I'm here for a reason, and I don't know what more to say. Like it's all good, but I just feel that there was a lot of women in this house that took care of it very well. Mm-hmm. Why am I here taking care of this home?
Okay, interesting. So have you ever had any experiences here that have made you feel perhaps like you're not alone in the house?
This particular room.
Okay.
And just floating around certain areas, mm-hmm. I feel like there are others.
There are others here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Dawn and I definitely had a sense immediately when we came into the space that we weren't by ourselves, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So great. I mean, we'll take a look around and see what information we can pick up, and perhaps we'll be able to give you some insight into, if you're not here on your own, then who are you here with?
Right.
So good?
Yeah.
Great. Let's head off and do that then.
Okay. Great.
Okay, and this has a totally different feel to it than the other side there. Okay.
Heavier, busier.
Definitely busier, definitely heavier. I have a sense straight away of a woman who's here, actually. A spirit woman's here. Not crossed over, not transitioned. Do you have any sense of her at all?
I do, yeah.
Okay. I get the sense that this is someone in spirit that is A-okay with the people who live here. Like actually maybe has like a fairly good relationship with them, like stewards of the house. Mm-hmm. But she feels a little bit different toward us being here today.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we're watched and they're wondering why we're here.
I had the same mm-hmm. sense outside, is this wonder, what are these people doing mm-hmm. here today?
Yeah, we're making them a little nervous.
A little bit, yeah. So I've only picked up one so far, this woman, but we'll see as we go. This is pretty interesting, actually. I just got this imprint of, I know it's been like taboo historically, but I just got this imprint of, I actually think there must have been something like a seance in this house, in this actual room.
It's interesting that you say that, because my first imprint that I had was over the fireplace with someone standing, but it has that same type of like ceremony candle type of moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have the same sense here in this room. I also feel like it involved this spirit woman who's here. Mm-hmm. So, okay, let's see where else we can pick up some information. Okay, this is really beautiful, isn't that?
That's gorgeous.
That's something else. Wow. Yeah, it feels like historically there's some, how do you say, maybe a bit of like hard times, but generally speaking, there's definitely some affluence happening here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess if we could imagine this, that would have been maybe close to the end of maybe the original house, maybe a little bit past that.
Yeah, I'm thinking, yeah.
A little bit past that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. That's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you want to make our way upstairs?
Yes,
okay.
Definitely.
Paula, do you want to come with us then? Can you smell that?
I smell it. I feel it.
Oh, that's so, yeah. Oh, I don't know how to describe that smell even.
I'm trying to think of a word.
I can't find a word for that, but it feels, oh, look at that. I just had this light just flash in my peripheral vision right there. Wow, there's a lot of stuff happening up here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to take a walk around. Let's do this. Oh, I just got, I've got goosebumps.
That's
and
what I'm
shivers going
covering.
on. Okay, do you want to come have a peek in here?
Oh, further in. Heavy chest.
Oh my gosh, I've got goosebumps all over my body right now. Okay. Oh, where did she just come from? The bathroom, okay. Okay. This feels like, how do I want to describe that? This feels like this is a very active space, actually. But the thing is the way that we perceive it is different, I think, than the folks who live here perceive it. Because as we mentioned, we do feel like, for those of you who live here, you're a very like accepted, ordinary presence for spirit here. But for us, they actually feel differently about us. So we, like, all of our receptors are just going off right now.
Absolutely.
Same with you, John?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Everything.
And this is a washroom. I'll just
Yes.
peek if we could.
Yeah,
check this out.
walk around too.
Okay, nothing much
No.
to do in here. Okay, let's go. Okay.
This is my sewing room.
Okay, got it. We'll leave that like that.
The stairs.
Right. And this
Okay.
is where, when we first walked in, I
Oh.
really felt like being observed.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay, well, I guess we'll make our way back into... I really want to look in that
Me
room.
too.
Okay, let's check it out.
All right.
It's just a sewing room.
Just a sewing room. It's
Let's
more,
just feel it out.
yeah, it's more just dead
Okay.
air.
Okay, yep, dead air. Just dead space. Nothing going on in there. You got that. Is like a big hit.
Huge.
Huge
Even as
hit.
we approach it again, I'm
Yeah,
going through the
same
goosebumps
thing.
and
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
everything all over again.
I'm just going to take a quick peek out that door there. Okay. When we first approached, there was a particular window that really felt like we were being watched out of. I actually think, is it that, let's look out that window to see if that's where, there was one in particular. I think it's that, I think it's this window in this room. No, it wasn't that one.
Because from your side, would we be able to see that window or this, just this one?
This is the very front of the
Oh, that's the
house.
front,
Okay.
okay.
And the side.
Okay, so I think it is this one too.
And it's also here.
Yeah.
It's the bathroom one too. Okay, well, what we're gonna do is we're going to make a little bit of contact with some of the spirits who are here, and just learn a little bit of information, and see where we go. Okay, you're all right with that?
Go ahead.
Okay. Is this sittable?
Absolutely.
Okay, do you wanna sit, do you wanna just
Yeah,
sit together
sounds
and
Bring
do
out
that?
this stuff.
Great.
Just move the blankets.
Okay, it's okay, I can just squish them back. This is the part where, when we're working, it doesn't look like very much, but actually a lot of things are happening right now. I gotta ask you, any sensation of like a name like Anne or Annie or Anna, something like this? Because I just have this woman's name that keeps coming up here.
Similar, I had Amy.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
so like an A female name. Okay, interesting.
And I definitely feel her presence here.
yeah,
and-
definitely
And I was
so.
wondering, did you, she seems calmer. Did you happen to tell her that we're just here observing?
Yeah, I'm just not sure what we're here to do yet, so I'll have to check in with her to see what her sort of situation is, and see what she's connected to here, what sort of keeps her around, because it's really like it's not in her interest to still be connected to this world, because she's, her time's come and gone, and it's really time for her to move on. So I want to just have some dialogue with her about that. Okay. Paula, this is interesting. I have to ask you this because she is saying to me that you're like the lady of this house. Okay. And she says to me that when you get like really inspired to like either decorate or create, she feels like she can connect with you through that because she liked to do those things as well. So have you ever had a sense of a woman in spirit being here?
I just feel that there's women in this house, or were many or one, I don't know, and they kept it clean, and they canned, and they sewed, and they did all those kind of things that I do.
Okay.
And that I love doing, and I'm back here for a reason. I'm just not quite sure. It's a feeling, and in certain rooms when I walk through, I just feel that there is someone, but it's all good.
Right. Yeah. Some of the reasons that someone who has passed sort of doesn't make a transition is it's usually because there's something that they're attached to or really connected to here in the form world, which can be a house, it can be a person, it can be an object. And it's interesting that you said that in fact you do those things like canning and decorating, sewing, those types of things, because this woman made me feel like she gets to sort of like relive some of those experiences through you because you do those things, which is another reason to keep her connected to this place and connected to you. And for you, that'll feel like very benign. It's not an issue for you at all. No. But for her, it's going to be in her best interest to sort of make a move onward. Yeah, I just got this real clear message. You have to be willing to let her go and let her know that it's okay to go, and in fact that she needs to, because as soon as I just made contact with her and brought up this conversation about moving on, she immediately went to you and it was like, my Paula. And so you need to let her know that it's okay, and there are wonderful things ahead of her, and that you're going to take care of this place, and you promise that to her. So if you could just maybe do that a little bit in your mind right now, it's going to help with this process. Okay? So could you spend a couple of minutes now doing that? Okay. Okay, so she's saying to me that there's somebody on the other side already that she isn't that fond of, and even has actually a little bit of fear of. There's this man in suspenders that she's referencing. So I'm just letting her know that I'm trying to communicate with her that when we transition to the spirit world, all of our sort of misdeeds and misgivings kind of like get left here in form. And that there's nothing to be afraid of. And I'm also just communicating with her to reach out to her mother, who is loving to her on the other side. So I'm just working on that as we speak. Okay, she is gone. It's going to be quieter in here now. It's going to feel, yeah, it's going to feel different in here. Yeah. You'll be just as inspired to do all of your wonderful things still, but it'll feel like it's just yours, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's quite all right. You don't need anyone else supporting your role here, you know? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. The thing is about names that spirits had when they were here. Spirit people don't look like anything. They don't have bodies. They don't have voice boxes. They can't just say to us, oh, hi, my name's Mary. Nice to meet you, right? And so sometimes we have a sense of an important name, and sometimes we don't. And when we do, great. Hopefully it's verifiable. And when we don't, it really doesn't matter. But yeah, sometimes folks will say, well, hey, what's their name? Well, I don't know. If they could talk, then they could just tell us their whole story. But the way that they speak is differently than the way you and I speak to each other. How was your experience?
She was, the more I got to know her, she seemed very pioneer in her energy.
Okay.
And she seemed more just lost, going with the flow, following.
Okay.
So once I communicated with her that she has people waiting for her, she was very eager. She just didn't seem to know. She was just kind of following.
Yeah.
So once I connected her with some of her loved ones that I crossed over, more almost like sisters,
Yeah.
more females, she went very, very peacefully, very gently.
That's interesting you say that about like sisters, and there were multiples, because Paula had made reference to feeling like the energy of many women around here. So that's kind of fascinating.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
I like that.
Yeah.
Let's tune in here.
Yeah, I feel more here
Yeah.
than I did in the other.
Yeah, nothing over there. Nothing to really pick up. Okay. Do you know where, Paula, do you know where this door came from?
It's part of the drawers of the house that we don't use anymore.
Okay. You might think about doing something with this old antique door. Like, just the house in general doesn't feel happy about it being down here. So I'm not sure what that means, but you might want to maybe repurpose it for something.
Okay.
Something along those lines. It feels like, an appendage of the house missing, and it's down here. That's the first thing that I just picked up from that. One thing that I think that the house itself is communicating to you, Paula, and Dawn, you can let me know if you have a sense of this as well, is that you really honored like this place, like caring about original features and how well it's preserved and all of those things, and that the house feels like very loved because of that. What do you get a sense there on, Dawn? Something similar?
I do, like they're vibrational matches.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You are meant to be here. Yeah, for sure. And you already have a sense of that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, moving on. Okay, this is original to your knowledge?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay. I don't like that at all. Okay. Let me just feel into that. Whoa, that's a while. I just got a really strong imprint of, actually it feels like kids running up and down this, but really loudly, it sounds like. Just an imprint, they're not here. And also I feel that, to your knowledge, was this widened at some point?
It led upstairs to the old garage, which is now, it was the old kitchen.
Yeah.
And the old back room where they stored the old cars.
Yeah.
Then they turned it into a living space.
Okay.
Much later on.
Okay.
So this was a stairs leading up and outside, like up and out past the porch and outside.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So when we have spaces that like naturally just don't see the light of day, they tend to be spaces that just hold a lower vibration, right? And so I'm also not entirely convinced just yet that there's nothing back there in particular. There might be something in particular I need to zoom in on, but the energy of that space is basically going to feel low, and you won't like the feeling of it. So we could do a little bit of clearing there, but the reality is that it never sees the light of day. People don't occupy the space, and it's probably going to just return to feeling that way. So maybe we'll just spend a few minutes seeing if there's anything else that we need to know about this. Is there anything you can add at this time, Dawn, or do you want a few more minutes as well?
No, I'm just getting an imprint of possibly a flood or water coming
Yeah.
down. So at first I thought it was just the type of energy, but no, I know it's an imprint of
Okay.
possibly a flood. Yeah, there was a flood here?
There's a well.
Oh, there's a well right there.
Cool.
Okay.
Very good.
All right.
Awesome.
I feel that when I come down to do things, somebody's sitting there.
Okay.
And I don't know good or bad, but somebody's just sitting there
Okay.
It doesn't bother you.
watching.
Okay, so what I'm picking up from that, even though Paula feels like she has someone watching her, is I don't feel like anyone's watching her, but I feel like it's this experience we have as humans, one related to stairs, going up or down stairs, especially where they're dark. We have this this innate fear usually that something is coming up behind us or something's watching us or following us. But I feel like her experience is just related to the lack of light. I don't actually feel like there's a spirit here or an entity here of concern. What about you?
I don't feel like there's eyes watching us, but I definitely feel like there could be an entity, but just some kind of resonance.
Just like a blob of energy?
A blob,
not
yes,
like
thank
this
you.
unique expression?
No, you're
okay.
absolutely right. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
okay.
just picking
Yeah.
up. That
Yeah,
it's
and
just
that's what will
slimy.
happen in
Yeah.
these dark spaces, right? So we'll have a sense of that, but I don't feel it as a person.
No.
That's the way I don't. Okay. Okay, that was a fascinating walkthrough, wasn't it?
Oh, it was wonderful.
So many,
So busy.
so busy, so many layers. One thing, Paula, that keeps coming up, just as we came back upstairs, is that I have a male spirit with me that is not a ghost. This is a spirit loved one. It's a family member, and he's like an older male. The only thing that he's saying to me straight away is that he's got a namesake here in the physical world. So someone who's named after him that he wants to acknowledge. Does that make sense to you for anybody on the other side?
Yes, that's my dad. The baby upstairs that's sleeping, his name is John Carter John,
Okay.
and he was named after my dad.
Okay, that's perfect. I need to tell you that your dad's here. This is a very different energy than any of the other spirits we've been talking about today. He's really beautiful. He has a loving energy, and he really wants to acknowledge his namesake. He's grateful for it. So that's his way of acknowledging your grandson, and he just wants you to know that.
Good.
Good. So a bit of a debrief. We spent some time in the basement, did a little bit of work there. Nothing hugely concerning except for that sort of darker area that doesn't receive much daylight. And of course, the most significant experience that we had would be the two women in spirit that were resident here. And one being attached to this space, and you, even though you would have never known her in the physical world. And then the other woman that Dawn was connecting with that sort of had a bit of confusion or wasn't really too sure what was going on her journey, but was sort of following along. Either way, both of these women ready to move on and don't need to be here anymore. And I think maybe, Dawn, if you could speak to just your sense that you got from the house that Paula is exactly where she's supposed to be, that there's a resonance between her and this space and the things within it. One of the other things that we'll bring up too is I actually feel like we have another spirit presence here who it actually feels like a dad energy, but I don't believe it's your dad because it's separate from the earlier man that was talking about a namesake. One thing that I'm getting right away is I've got these like thick, clammy hands on my wrist, just making me like working hands, like big time working hands, and almost like a very sort of simple man, but prideful and hardworking. Now, other than your actual dad, who we already connected with, does that make sense to you for someone else, Paula? Mm-hmm. Okay. Who do you understand that to be?
Dave's dad.
Okay. So that's your partner's dad then? Mm-hmm. Okay. He is also here. Just a really, like a lot of pride that he wants to pass along. And also there's some reference coming up here to wanting him to know that there's something about business he's talking about actually. Feels like either business decisions or like a big business change, something along those lines that he's like really supportive and glad of, and just saying that, you know, like that was the right decision, like right choices, like good on you. Yeah, he wants to mention something like that. And do you have any idea what some of that might be? And you don't have to say, but does that make sense to you? Okay, perfect. So it's up to you if you'd like to pass that message along, but everything feels like all is going well. The only other thing to mention, and you can let me know if you have any sense of this as well, Dawn, is that sometimes it's hard to capture this message, but sort of like living to work, even though that's like a way of life, remember to like take downtime. That's what he's talking about. So I suspect that perhaps he works a lot. Is that right? Okay. Yeah, it's just this sense of like time catches up to all of us is what he's saying. And he just has this message that he wants to pass along to like use your time slightly. And he says only slightly more wisely. That's what he's saying. So he must have worked a lot too. Your partner's father, is that right? Workaholic, work, right? So yeah, he would like to pass along from his wisdom now, to like take more downtime, more time for you, because you have to leave it all behind when you leave this place. Do you know what I mean by that? Mm-hmm. We don't get to take any of it with us. So it's like more downtime, and I don't even just mean sort of vacation wise. I mean, just even in the sense of like daily, like taking more like time out, me time, napping, like even just vegging out, like just more downtime will go a long way. And he'd like to pass that along, and he wants to let him know how much he loves him, real proud too.